right, guys, look what I'm digging into. This is Cacio Pepe. If you don't know what that is, it's basically an adult version of mac and cheese, Roman style, made with just an H cheese and black pepper. It's peppery, it's got bite, it's got sharpness, it's got soul. So if you've never had Cacio Pepe, well, this is your chance. Let's get started. All right, to get started, remember there's only 2 ingredients that give all the flavor. And we're just talking about cheese and black pepper. So you want it to be peppery, modified by the creamy cheese. It's going to sort of balance it all out. So I guarantee you, for 2 or 3 servings, you're gonna add about 2 tablespoons of peppercorns, and you're gonna wanna crush them by hand. I've got a big heavy mortar and pestle here, and I can just crush it like this, but if you don't have one, I'm going to show you how you can do it with a wine bottle as well. I've had Cacio Pepe where they're just using finely ground pepper that's just out of a box, and it just does not do the same thing. You want these little chunks of pepper, so make sure they're finely ground. You don't want the whole peppercorns, but you do want them crushed peppercorns. That's what we're looking for. So I've got 2 tablespoons here, and that's enough for about 8 ounces of pasta, serving 2 to 3 people. It's a rich dish, so you don't need a lot. Now, if it's too peppery for you, you can cut it down a little bit, but do not go below 1.5 tablespoons. Okay, so if you want to do this using a wine bottle, because you don't have the right equipment, it doesn't matter. There's always the right equipment lying around your house. You can always improvise. Don't need all the gadgets, and you can just use a wine bottle, a heavy wine bottle, and just crush it like that. You can hear it, can't you? And this is what I did in Italy this summer when I made a bunch of Cacio Pepe for my tour groups, and we didn't have any way to crush it, so we just used a wine bottle. Takes a little bit longer, so you can do that if you want. By the way, I'm using the wine bottle of Moose Mountain Vineyards, which is a vegan winery, which is pretty cool. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we got to grate the cheese. All right, so what do you want to use for cheese? You want to use a hard-aged vegan cheese that's got a little bit of bite to it, a little bit of sharpness to it. And I want to let you know, these are cheeses that I made, and they're recipes that'll be in the upcoming Homemade Vegan Creamery. But there are so many amazing artisan vegan cheesemakers. You can get them at the Vreamery, GTFO, it's vegan, Vegan Essentials. There's probably someone in your neighborhood. So give them a try, get a nice hard aged cheese. Or you can make a recipe out of artisan vegan cheese, my old cookbook, or just wait until next year. But there's so many possibilities right now. You know, you can get something now, even if you can't wait until next year. You're gonna want about 6 ounces of cheese. So about 2 to 3 ounces per person, depending on whether this 8 ounces of spaghetti serves 2 or 3 people, depending on appetites, of course. So just gonna get this all grated up. This is a Parmesan style cheese called Parma Cacio. That'll be in my book. And then I have another one here. And if you've made some vegan cheese and it's gotten kind of old and dried out, well, this is a perfect use for it. All right, that's probably enough. Let's get that in here. And let's go cook some pasta. First thing first, you're gonna start boiling your pasta. So I got a pot of water here. I'm gonna add some salt to that. And you're not gonna drain the pasta. We're gonna take it out and put it directly in the pan. The sauce cooks as the pasta is cooking, and literally it takes 2 minutes. So we're gonna get the pasta in here. And we're just gonna wait about 5 minutes before we start the next step while the pasta softens up and is close to being al dente as possible. Okay, my pasta is beginning to wilt, so I'm going to start on the Cacio Pepe part, the cheese and pepper. That needs a couple more minutes before we start adding it here. I got a pan here. I'm going to get it nice and hot. I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil. Get that hot. Now I'm going to add the black pepper. All right, we're going to cook that black pepper for a minute, just to sort of release the aroma. Just let that sizzle for 30 seconds or so. I'm going to try my pasta and see how al dente it is. Now, it's going to continue to cook in here, so we don't want it to be mushy. And we want it to be even less than al dente, so that when it finishes cooking in here, it'll be the perfect level of al dente. So we do need another minute or so. I'm going to take this off the heat for a second. Now, what's interesting is that we're not going to drain the pasta. We're going to be taking the pasta directly out of there because we want that pasta water to turn the cheese into a sauce. Okay, now I think it's ready. I'm going to start taking the pasta. It's going to go right in there. Get it all in there. All right, now I'm going to add my cheese. And now I'm going to add some pasta water. I'm going to start out with a ½ cup, maybe. And remember, that pasta water has some starch in it. That's going to help create a little sauce here. It's also got salt in it, so we probably won't have to add any salt to it. And we want to have a nice, beautiful sauce here. I'm going to add a little bit more water. And the pasta is continuing to cook in this sauce. And if I've done it perfectly, it will be that beautiful al dente texture when it comes out of the pan. Oh, look at that now. Can you see that sauce beginning to enrobe each pasta noodle? Look at that. And you want to serve this hot because the cheese does begin to solidify pretty quickly. So you can decide how much pasta water you want to add. You can add a little bit more if you like to thin it out a little bit. How's that looking? What do you think, guys? Alrighty, I think my cacio pepe is ready. Let's plate it up. Okay, forget it. Forget it. I'm not a stylist. Okay, I've finished. I've got to take a bite of this delicious dish. Takes me back to Rome. All right, let me give it a try. I don't know how the Italians do it. They put together two simple ingredients and just elevate them and turn them into something completely different. Cheese and black pepper. Vegan cheese, of course. This is so soul satisfying, so exciting. I hope you give it a try. Thanks again for joining us on the Vegan Good Life with Miyoko, and I'll see you again next time. Be sure to like and subscribe.